Hey guys, what's up? This is Giving Up 96 here. Today we're gonna do something very special. This is something me and a few other YouTubers are doing, and it's gonna be our top 50 horror movies of all time. Top 50 in our own opinion. And the people doing this are really awesome YouTubers. So first and foremost, before I do anything like telling you about my top 50, I'd like to give them all credit also. Manny Raposo, who got me into this thing that we're doing right now. He's a really cool YouTuber. He talks about his horror collection a lot from what I've watched of his, and just he's a really cool YouTuber. We got Parsnip Burger, who shows us in-depth releases almost every week, which is really cool. I really look forward to seeing those every week. Andrew Bellina, who has an extensive horror collection. From his opening video, you can definitely see he got some nice collector's pieces that I'm kind of jealous of. We got Lylesburg 7-Eleven, who does a lot of really cool contests and does a lot of really cool openings and shows everything that he gets, which is really cool. And last person I'm going to mention is one of my best friends on here, Toddy Walnuts. He has some really great stuff. He's basically a walking encyclopedia for many horror movies, and I really respect that in him. But now, as we were going, this is our top 50 horror movies, and in this episode, we're going to do number 50 through 41. So let me show you guys what my top 50 are starting now. Now this is my opinion. A lot of people do. Some of us in this chose to break up the series, while others chose to put individual pieces one by one in, which is what I did. So my number 50 from the producers of Hellraiser 3 is Children of the Corn 2. There's something about this movie that really spoke to me. I thought it was hilarious, where the grandma's in an electric wheelchair and like somehow they rig it up to fly down the street. It's just a really fun movie. And though not terrifying, it definitely has its moments, especially for being a sequel to a huge release. I highly recommend this one. But the leftover children from the murderers of Gatlin. So that's number 50 for me. Highly recommend checking it out. It stars Terrence Knox, Paul Scherer, Ryan Bowman, Christy Clark, Rosalind Allen, and Ned Romero. Like I said, again, highly recommend this. If you can find a copy, pick it up right away. It's really fun. Number 49 in my list is Prince of Darkness. One of my all-time favorites from Carpenter. Not my favorite, but it's definitely up there. About the story of a priesthood trying to keep this green goo out, and the green goo is basically what creates the apocalypse. It's really cool. Stars Donald Pleasence. Produced by Larry Franco. Starring Lisa Blount, Donald Pleasence, Victor Young, Jameson Parker. It was written by Martin Quatermass, and one really cool surprise actor in this is Alice Cooper as a hobo. He plays a hobo in this, and it's really, really funny. I highly recommend. It's not funny, it's terrifying. I guess I get those mixed up every now and then, but highly recommend checking this movie out on Blu-ray. It's a scream. Next here is another horror-ish comedy. I have a lot of horror comedies on my list because they are technically horror, although still comedy. But for me is Lake Placid. It's featuring Bill Pullman, Bridget Fonda, and Oliver Platt. I think Oliver Platt is one of the hidden gems in film, in US film today. Well, not today, in the 90s. He was hilarious. He played in Three Musketeers, which was a hilarious role. Ready to Rumble, one of my favorite all-time movies about wrestling. He plays Jimmy King, a washed-up wrestler who needs to come back to beat the person who beat him. But like I was saying, this is number 58. This also stars Betty White, which I don't know why they didn't put her name on. I really like this cover due to the fact it looks like those old "Welcome to Pure Michigan" or "Welcome to Kissimmee, Florida." I think it's really cool, and I really like it. Inner is the Lake Placid art. It's basically about these random murders start happening when these oversized crocodiles start killing people. So if that sounds entertaining to you, I highly recommend checking it out. Next here, number 46, 50, 49, 48, no, 47. 47 here is Halloween Resurrection. The reason this one's so low on my list is because it's utterly ridiculous. It should not be in this list at all. But there's something about Busta Rhymes karate kicking Michael Myers and fighting him that is hilarious, and I love it for that reason alone. It's another bad sequel for the Halloween franchise. Anything after part 5, let's be honest, was going downhill. Anything after part 4 was going downhill, to be honest. But this one's the one where reality TV sets in. It's just a really off-putting, funny movie. That's really all I can say about it. So that's it. Now we're on to number 46. And 46 here is the French film released from Criterion, Eyes Without a Face. Great horror movie. For 1960, the fact that they showed a graphic removal of a face is amazing, and it's terrifying. This French thriller about a man who's accidentally got in a car accident, killing this wonderful woman's mother, and having her face ripped off, and trying his damnedest just to be able to replace it is just, there's something about it that I love. It's very good. There's some suicide scenes from the pain of losing one's face to decomposition because it didn't work right. Animal killing humans. It's just a great film, and I highly recommend you check out Eyes Without a Face. Going to number 45 here. is Army of Darkness. Criterion, Scream Factory is releasing a new Blu-ray of this, which I already have pre-ordered. But this movie, in my opinion, out of all four of them, this is the worst Evil Dead film. Before you get mad, it's because the worst doesn't mean anything. It's still a great film. I'm just saying, of them, it's probably not the best. I absolutely love Bruce Campbell in this film. He goes back in time to the Dark Ages, where he has to fight the Deadite army once again. But this time, he goes to the past, which if you watched Evil Dead 2, you know that there was some kind of hero from the sky who came in a blue shirt, his boomstick, and helped them defeat the evil Deadites. And that hero was Ash, the time-space dimension traveler. This one gets so low because it completely left, well, it didn't completely leave, but it left the horror genre behind and decided to go full-out comedy fantasy. Now, it's a great film, but that's the reason it's so low on this list at number 45. Next is 44. Another film that almost everybody sees as a classic. I agree it's a classic, but that doesn't mean that it makes it to my top spot, and I'm really sad to say that. It's Alfred Hitchcock's The Birds. I'm terrified of birds, so it did its job. It's a great film for sure. It's a masterpiece of a film, but it's just birds attacking a city. The ending's kind of anticlimactic. It's a fun movie, especially if you're terrified of birds like I am. The acting is great, scene's iconic, but to me it just doesn't match up compared to some other films, especially some other Hitchcock films, which will be later on down my list. But highly recommend The Birds. Just not that high on my list. Alright, so sorry, I'm trying to figure out where I'm at. It should be number 43, right? 50, 49, 48, 47, 46, 45, 44, 43, I was right. And that is number 43 on my list is VHS 1. To me, it's a good movie, great anthology film. Highly recommend it, especially if you're a fan of the shaky cam like I am. To me, it's still, I get that it's dead. I get that not a lot of people like it, but I still love shaky cam. I can't help it. There's some really cool stories. One of the stories in this movie is actually getting a full-length film, and that one is the one with the succubus. I think it's One Night Stand or something like that. Amateur Night. Highly recommend this film. There's some creepy stories. Probably the best stories in here are the Amateur Night. The Alien one is really good. I highly recommend watching that one. And no, I'm not talking about the aliens from VHS 2. That one's even better. But I just highly recommend watching this. It's really a really good movie. Basically, a bunch of misfits break into a house, watch all these tapes where fucked up things happen. Highly recommend it. It's a great horror watch. Next on my list, Tucker and Dale versus Evil. Another great horror comedy. Like I said, horror comedies are going to be on here a lot. It's about these two hillbillies who buy this rundown cabin in the woods. And for some reason, everybody and their mother thinks they're evil and trying to kill each other and everybody. There's really no reason for them to think they're evil other than the Tom Hick counterparts that everybody goes through. Highly recommend this. It's hilarious. Very funny film that I feel everybody should watch. There's some great gore in here. Great scenes. It really is a 10 out of 10 film, and it should be a lot higher than number 42 on my list. But sadly, there's better out there for me. Speaking of better out there, 41's also one that's it's low on my list, but it is a great film, and I do feel bad for it being this low, but it is what it is. That is the classic, what year was it? Just want to make sure that I don't screw this up. 1958 film The Fly, starring Vincent Price. It's about a man who messing with things that he shouldn't be messing with accidentally causes a malfunction, and in this malfunction, sadly, he goes through some changes, and those changes happen to be himself fusing with a fly. Vincent Price does a really good job in this film as the rich brother and owner of the foundry that stuff goes wrong in, and the son, you gotta feel so horrible for as he sees his father, the Fly, with the white head and the white arm, that he doesn't understand the big deal with this fly, why it's so different. But highly recommend it. The wife going through the pain of losing her husband, highly recommend seeing this film. But that's it for this. That was 50 through 41. We got 5 weeks to go, kids. But like I said, and I'd like to give these people a shout out again, check out Parsnip Burgers, Toddy Walnuts, Manny Raparso, Lyle's Burger 7-Eleven, and Andrew Bellina. Let's keep this going. I've been watching theirs. I hope you have too. And let's keep this going. It's fun. And I also would like to see people who aren't in this groups. Maybe you'd like to do a video response to this, just to see what it is. But that's it from me to you. So guys, that's just giving up. Top 50 through 41. Alright guys.